chased by the deep state, fighting for independence, thinking about revolution, looking for alternative solutions. The enemies of the deep state will tell you what others even don't dare to think. Manuel Ochsenreiter and Mateusz Piskorski.
Hello, hello, hello. This is the podcast DieGutenMenschen, public enemies of the deep state. My name is again Manuel Ochsenreiter, since it didn't change since last podcast. And I talk again to my friend and colleague Mateusz Piskorski, whose name also didn't change since last time. Hello, Mateusz, how are you today?
Yes, hello. I'm speaking to you having the same name as you.
It starts with a miracle. It's really, and what I forgot to say, we are also both journalists, and you know, Mateusz, we should start now like they do this in American shows. So I should introduce the magazine you are working for, and you should introduce the magazine I am working for. So I say now, and this is my friend Mateusz Piskorski, journalist and editor for the best Polish newspaper, Myśl Polska. Is that right?
Yes, you are totally right.
Yes, and what means in English Polish thought, or in German der polnische Gedanke, what sounds very deep, and I think it is like this.
Exactly, and I should answer for you that you are an editor-in-chief of the best German magazine when it comes to politics, when it comes to comments and information zuerst. So we give an advertisement to each other. And now let's start, not to bore our audience too much.
We are just very little workers in the vineyard of the Lord. Yeah.
Of course, correct.
But what is really interesting, the topic of today's show, I think we were pushing now for many weeks, and it was planned already, I think, for the beginning of the month, for November. We speak today about what to expect from the team Biden-Harris, especially when it comes to foreign politics. And since, I mean, there are, I think, still a lot of hardcore Donald Trump fans out there who say, no, it's still not safe, and we still don't know who will be next president. But I think I don't go too far when I say it might be very likely that Joe Biden and Mrs. Harris are the next president in the White House, right?
Well, you don't believe in the putsch anymore.
I hope for the putsch, but I don't believe in it. The putsch is a spiritual thing, Mateusz, but this is a thing we can also do a whole show for.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, we still keep we still keep our faith in the skills of Donald Trump as a possible potential putschist.
Of course, that he comes back as the imperator of America, or that he takes over West Point Military Academy and does there also a little showdown. For now, I think some days ago, Donald Trump was tweeting, and we know all when it comes to Donald Trump, it is very important to follow him on Twitter. But some days ago, he was tweeting about the trend, which is going to be from his team administration to the team of Joe Biden. So I think we can value that already as the soft signal that we might have in January president. And so besides all the aspects of American entertainment, where we had already shows about that, I think will also not disappoint us, or we hope at least. Let us look, what are we going to expect from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when it comes to foreign politics? When I read now in social networks, we have there's those voices who are really doing some apocalyptic forecasts. They say Joe Biden will start in every country against everyone again. after a period of relatively peace with Donald Trump. And we have those, of course, which are more liberal, centrist, and friends of Joe Biden, who say, yes, now the United States of America eventually will take back the role of leadership, and the world will become, by that, maybe a little bit more stable. What do you think? Will we expect now World War III or the paradise?
Well, I think no one is right when it comes to all those forecasts, at least those camps you have mentioned. I personally think that on the one hand, we will have, of course, we have discussed several times the existence of the so-called deep state. So the core of US foreign policy, of US military policy, will not change. This is the first thing, yes. Let's say, accents might be different and the details might be different. The tactics might be different, but not the strategy. The tactics will be more, let's say, smart than it was during the times of Trump administration. I mean, Trump did several things very straightforward, to say the least, like, causing all those economic wars, openly accusing and openly waging an economic war against the European Union and continental Europe as such, and so on and so on. Yes. In case of the Democrats, I think that they will go back to the methods which had been used by, let's say, Clinton's administration in the past, in the 90s, to the methods that are being used by Soros and his people. So they will try to more covertly destabilize different countries which are perceived as their enemies. Yes, they will officially keep good relations with China, or even perhaps they'll have some meetings with the Russian officials and so on. But on the other hand, on the one hand, they'll be shaking hands with the leaders of the enemy countries, of those countries which they perceive as enemy. On the other hand, they will give funding and support for the internal opposition. So they will again try to revive all this liberal anti-system opposition in countries like Iran. Let's start from Iran. Let's tell that they'll try to do the same in Russia. They will probably, Navalny is quite lucky with the news that Biden shall come, because he will now get more grants and donations from several US foundations there. Yes. Then we have also some idea that in the foreign policy of United States, that it's possible to have their own faction within the Central Bureau of the Communist Party of China, or the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, there's a group called Komsomol Group within the Chinese Communist Party, the group which is headed now by the acting Prime Minister Li Keqiang, who is perceived as a possible ally of the Democratic administration, of Biden's administration there. And of course, they will also probably try to start a smart game within China. They'll also start a smart game within Europe, trying to get back, let's say, the trust of the Europeans. I mean, particularly Germany and France. So they will try to appease the relations which have become, well, quite cold in the times of Trump's administration, between Paris, Berlin, and Washington. So their external policy, their foreign policy, will be a lot smarter than the one of Trump's administration, but still they will try to approach and to let's say get the same goals and aims, achieve the same aims as Trump's administration, because nothing has dramatically changed in the goals of in the aims and strategic goals of American foreign policy. This is the same because it's led by the same people. I mean, the business groups, the corporations, the military industry, and so on. But the methods will be slightly different, of course. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think also that the aims didn't change and will ever hardly change in the future. Also, of course, Trump was with his America First claim waking at many people in the US, but also in Europe, a lot of hopes because it sounded more or less like they would concentrate on themselves and not on the world. But I totally agree. And when it comes, for example, to Germany and Russia, I believe that the means President Biden or the team of President Biden will use to sabotage Nord Stream 2 will be much more dangerous, much more intelligent, and deeper than anything what we experienced in the 4 years of Trump. I mean, what did we experience in 4 years of Trump? It was some barking from Washington, then our personal superhero, the American ambassador to Berlin, was blackmailing in over 11 companies. I mean, if I would be conspiracy theorist, what I am not, one could say that Trump did anything to forge that they want to have now this Nord Stream 2. And if it is only because Trump is against it and Trump is using these means. So this kind of unity, which really somehow might have at least mentally existed, will be for sure broken by the means of President Biden. That there is no doubt, in my opinion. And if we look at his foreign policy team, not just when it comes to Europe and Germany, we can see that there are a lot of experts and policymakers from the past, from the Barack Obama administration, and even also before from the Clinton administration, who are also some kind of, sorry, who are some kinds of experts when it comes to the means you were saying, to funding liberal opposition, even to the means of arming opposition. So we have there people who were involved in the war in Libya, involved in the war in Syria, of course, also involved in any anti-Russian action when it comes to soft power. So the personnel in his foreign policy team is already showing us, it's like he opens his toolbox and shows us the tools he's using. What do you think about that? Because I think this will be the question we have now to expect.
Yes. I think that now there will be less conflicts between the structures, certain structures of the deep state, like, for instance, the CIA operatives and strategists there around, and the administration, because a lot of people in the future administration, a lot of advisors of Biden are really, let's say, quite experienced. And I wouldn't even say that they were working directly for Obama, because you have mentioned Obama, but I would rather focus on the fact that they have worked for Clinton. First during the Clinton administration in the 90s, then for Hillary Clinton when she was the Secretary of State. So, of course, this is a group of hawkish neoconservative wing of the Democrats. So definitely they will use all possible means of the liberal agenda of US politics. I mean, Trump, as you have mentioned Nord Stream, for instance. I have lately read some news, I think you will confirm that, that several companies which are involved in Nord Stream construction have been called by the representatives of US administration, probably by the Department of State, And during the phone calls, they have got some, let's say, warnings. Very straightforwardly, that if they will continue their engagement into this investigation, this project, they might have some problems in the future when it comes to the sanctions and so on and so on. Now it will work definitely more smart, yes. So I think there will be, let's say, more bribery than trying to blackmail someone, yes. Now they are just blackmailing, just threatening the companies. And in the future, I think, I mean, that if you would compare the tactics of both administrations, yes, in the future, such company which would be involved in a project which is not accepted, which is rejected by the US administration, might, for instance, be bribed, yes, or part of its directors could be bribed to the administration will be more, let's say, eager to use the methods such as bribery, sabotage, internal sabotage of decision making, and so on. So the tactics will be definitely more smart than they are now, and less straightforward. And that's why, yes, the tactics, on the level of the tactics, the situation will be even more dangerous for European companies, for instance, for European countries, than it used to be in the times of Trump. Because, as you have mentioned, I mean, Trump has very openly spoiled the relations with European Union countries, with several other regional players all around, and he was so straightforward and so simple in that, yes, so primitive even, that everything was obvious. Now nothing will be obvious, and all those operations will be more covered and smart than they used to be.
And another point which will be also interesting, I think that, I mean, you don't use to be some gypsy to get this idea, but that Biden will, of course, empathize the importantness and the meaning of NATO, what means nothing else that and that is, I think, for Germany the same as it will be also for Poland and for Eastern Europe, that in future military aggressions, we all will be included also, that he will do it that way. As, for example, Clinton was trying to do, and I mean, even before Bush, before Clinton, Bush tried to do. Poland would say always yes when the request comes from US, I think, in the in the situation right now. So I think that is also a thing about to expect, that in future aggressions, it won't be anymore just an American aggression. It will be then like a Western alliance again working on it. What, you think I'm wrong in this, or what? What is your
You're totally right. Poland was always saying yes to United States, as well as the Baltic countries and Romania. We have spoken several times about the so-called concept of the New Europe, in the central and eastern part of our continent. But Germany was hesitating, and now I fear that even Germany won't be hesitating in times of Biden's administration. But anyway,
It's for Germany effect to have presidents like Bush, like Trump, because it is so easy to say no. Problematic are really presidents like Clinton, when Clinton plays with his saxophone, and you know all these things. So
like Obama, exactly, yeah.
yeah, oh, Obama was also playing. I think Clinton was playing saxophone, and Obama was a little dog. I don't know any, but they were so much close to us and so super duper that it was problematic to say no. It was so easy. It was easy for our Chancellor Schröder simply to say no to Bush. Schröder was celebrated for that. If there been a have been easy for Schröder because the people would have sympathized with him. I think that is the problem. So now we go in the stage again when it's not easy to say no. And I doubt also that Germany will somehow get around it simply by paying money, which Germany also, the Czech policy we were trying to do for many decades. I also don't think it will work now, but we will see.
Well, of course. Anyway, we should thoroughly analyze, we should make a detailed analysis of the background of the most important people there. As soon as we know about the new appointments when it comes to the administration, the Biden administration, I think we should pay particular attention to people like Michael Carpenter and other advisors there, yes, because they will be shaping the tactics at least, and even to some extent perhaps a strategy, or they will be not shaping the strategy, but they will be voicing the strategy which was elaborated in the structures of deep state even before. Anyway, I think we'll have a lot of opportunities, and that it will be quite interesting to discuss the, let's say, biographical, the let's say ideological background of different people who will be nominated to the administration of Joe Biden. And in the coming months, for sure, we should do that. What do you think about that?
Yes, you are right, except the case we wake up tomorrow and Trump did his putsch and declared himself to the
Yes, of course.
imperator.
Yes, of course. We wish United States to have a good putsch in old European tradition.
Yes, and just an advice to American policy. If you are follower of Trump, you need now every soldier from Europe for your cause, because there will come a big conflict. And if you are a follower, don't forget, you will need every soldier from Europe for your cause, because Trump might mobilize a lot of militias, and then you need the army. So, so whatever you do in US, don't forget
You
to
need
take
Europe.
all your troops from the European continent. You need them. You need your men.
Yes, exactly. Take them
By,
there back.
by the way, yeah, since we are now almost at the end, I wanted to ask you, the connection is today not very good. Is it because of the war of Poland against Burma still, or why is the connection today so bad? Is it the Burmese
Yes.
force?
I think they have used the most contemporary technology of disturbing the internet connection.
So, or the Burmese space program is doing umbrella over Poland. That can also be. It was a pleasure to talk to you today
Yes.
again, and we will follow, of course, the events in Washington, which unfortunately are always also like then events for Europe. So, and as soon Biden will present us the foreign policy team and the advisors, I think it will be worth again its own show. What do you think?
Yes, of course. I even think that some of the advisors, as let's say single persons, will be worth to be discussed here in our podcasts.
And we will do this. So, for now, thank you very much for your time again.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck against the Air Force of Burma. Our hearts and ears.
Yes, we are trying to do our best, but we really count on the help and support of the friendly country, Germany.
Yes, sure. Don't
Thanks.
worry. No problem.
Okay.
You go already to the front line. We come right after. Yeah. Don't
Okay, okay, we are waiting.
We
and
do it like the French and the English.
yes, we are really counting on you.
Yeah, do that. That's great. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot and see you soon.
This program was presented to you by Manuel Ochsenreiter and Mateusz Piskorski, the hottest dissident who won't violate any time the global rules against racism, extremism, or any other bad isms.